And what was the name of the high advisor of Stratos? Placis. And what was the name of his daughter? Droxine. Remember that episode? Where there was the planet floating in the sky and the Enterprise needed a consignment of Xenite? And when they went to the planet and found out that these troglodytes, who were the workers down on the planet, they were the ones that were doing all the mining. And there was a gas that was being emitted by this mineral, and it basically kind of retarded their minds, so they weren't able to aspire intellectually and socially as high as the people who lived on Stratos, this beautiful city that literally was in the clouds, suspended in the clouds. And so Captain Kirk decides, he finds out about this gas, and he decides he's gonna have a demonstration on the effects of this gas, and he goes down to the planet and he seals the cave, the mine, with Vanna, the woman that was the head of the troglodytes, and he has the Enterprise beam Placis, the high advisor, him in all of his fancy robes, down into the mines to prove that this gas will affect him. And he's like, you know, Placis starts getting angry after a while, starts losing his civilized cool. And he's like, there's no gas, I see no effects, no proof of any effects here, Kirk, transport us out of here. And Kirk's standing there with a phaser, because he's been affected by it now too, and he's like, perhaps you need closer exposure. Fill that container. And the guy's like, you suggested that I dig for Xenite? I insist. You will pay for this, Kirk. And he's got this poor old guy in his robe digging for Xenite. Awesome. And then they start fighting, and you realize that the gas affected them. Yes?
When Kirk and company get sent to the parallel world, where...
Oh, Mirror, Mirror, one of the best episodes ever.
How did the captain of that Enterprise...
He assassinated Captain Pike. Good question, dude. Awesome. Remember that episode? What was the name of the Enterprise? The ISS Enterprise, instead of the USS Imperial Starship. Where they advanced in rank by assassinating the people above them. Question? Yes? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Me and my friend have an argument going. I think in one of the episodes, I can't remember, but I think that was the Vic Mignogna and then Liz Taylor playing the social worker. That McCoy fell it.
It was Joan Collins. So your friend was right.
Right? Yeah, but she didn't know who it was.
Yes, it was Joan Collins. Yes. In fact, here's another great piece of trivia for you guys. What was the only Star Trek episode to win an Emmy Award? It was that one. City on the Edge of Forever, written by Harlan Ellison, very famous writer, sci-fi writer. And that was when they jumped through the giant Cheerio. Basically, that's what I used to call it. The Guardian of Forever. Remember this one? What a great episode. McCoy accidentally injected himself with Cordrazine, and it made him go crazy. And he jumped into the transporter and beamed down to this planet, and he jumped through this thing that turned out to be a time portal. And it sent him back in time, and suddenly, I mean like immediately, when he went through that thing, Uhura's like, Captain, I've lost contact with the Enterprise. I was talking to them, and suddenly it just went dead. And the Guardian goes, your world, your future, everything you knew is gone. Because McCoy somehow in the past had changed history, and it completely changed everything. So there was no Federation, there was no anything. Awesome. So Spock and McCoy had to go back and try to find him and undo whatever he did. You remember this? And they go back, and it's like the 30s, Depression era. And this woman, Joan Collins, was a missionary. She ran a little soup kitchen. And what you find out is, when they get back there, they find out that she was supposed to have been killed in a traffic accident. Isn't that amazing? It's beautiful. I'll cry if I go too far with this episode. And what they find out is they see two different newspaper clippings. One says that she was killed in a traffic accident, and the other one said that she met with President Roosevelt today. And what you find out is that McCoy saved her from being hit by a car, and she went on to meet with the president. And her meetings with the president delayed the United States' entrance into World War II, and Germany had time to finish their rocket testing and experiments, and Germany won the war. And everything changed because that one sweet local missionary did not die like she was supposed to. And of course, Kirk fell in love with her, of course. And then Spock's like, Kirk, Captain Edith Keeler must die. And that final scene when Kirk and she are going out on a date, this is all we have time for, but hey, we started late, so we're gonna finish late, if that's okay with you guys. They're walking across the street like they're going on a date to see a Clark Gable movie. And she says, you know, Dr. McCoy said to me, McCoy! Leonard McCoy? And she's like, yes, he's not. Stay here. Stay right here. And Kirk runs across the street, and McCoy comes out of the door, and they're hugging, and they're so glad to see each other. And Edith doesn't understand, how do they even know each other? And she starts walking across the street. And McCoy starts to go for her. And Kirk grabs him and holds him. And she gets hit by the car. And McCoy goes, you deliberately stopped me, Jim. Do you know what you just did? And Kirk pushes him away and goes over to the corner and just buries himself in the corner. And Spock looks at McCoy and says, he knows, Doctor. He knows. Oh my God, I love that show. Oh! You guys, what's the final score, my darling?
Vic 28 and guests 1.
I love you guys.